Hello, this is the Amber Dusk here. Today I'm going to be showing you how long it took me to defeat the 5th gym in Pokemon Brick Bronze Reborn. I'm not making videos for all the original Brick Bronze gyms 1 through 4 because I have them recorded, but I don't have enough recording. I might do one for the fight with Professor Cypris or whatever his name is, but I will not be doing that for the rest of the gyms. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. Before I started the 5th gym, the Rock Gym, I decided I wanted to try and hunt a Dreepy in the Haunted Manor because, well, I just like the fully evolved Pokemon of Dreepy. Can't remember its name. This took way longer than initially intended. I spent about 30 minutes just looking for Dreepy. I'm sure it's not that rare, but it took me absolutely ages. So when I finally caught Dreepy, I was very happy. And surprisingly, in those 30 minutes, I didn't find a single shiny, which was very disappointing, but oh well, at least I got the Dreepy. At this point, I decided to switch to my shiny Bisharp because it was a level 30. It was close to the level of Dreepy, and I used Cut because it was a shorter, well, a lower attack, so it was less likely to knock out the Dreepy, because I was not spending another 30 minutes just looking for the Dreepy, and I'm glad I did this. I was praying for a non-critical hit, because look at the amount of damage that it did. I was freaking out at this point. Yeah, but that was pretty lucky of me to find it. Despite how long it took, I caught it first try, which I was very happy about. And then I decided to go to Route 8 and start looking for a Riolu. No reason I wasn't going to use it, I just wanted a Riolu because I wanted a Lucario, because later on down the line, I wanted to evolve it into a Mega Lucario. This did not go as it's intended. I ended up spending the next 2 hours in Route 8 running in circles up and down each path in the tufts of grass, looking for a Riolu, and I know it's a 2% spawn rate. I bought the luxury ball ready for when I did come across it, and I had absolutely no luck of finding a Riolu, which was obviously very annoying, but it is what it is. I ended up moving on. Initially, when I got to Route 11, I had no idea what I was supposed to do. I just spam tapped when they were telling me whatever, and I think it was Jess, maybe? When Jess and whoever her granddad's friend was, I was just spam tapping, skipping through the dialogue, and all I saw was Route 7, or not 7, 11, and if I didn't see that, I probably wouldn't have even gone here. And I had no idea what it was I was supposed to be doing at this point. I just winged it. So I spent 10 minutes trying to figure out what it was I was actually supposed to be doing. Eventually, however, I figured it out and I made it to Adrian City, which I ended up walking around, getting lost several times because I couldn't see a gym, despite it being in front of me the entire time. So I just kind of walked around, messed around with the Snorlax for 2 seconds, and then obviously I went up to the guards. They told me that I could find the prince or the gym leader in the ruins, and I went to 3 different areas looking for the ruins. I had absolutely no clue where the ruins were, so when I eventually did find it, I dodged every single fight there, which I do kind of regret now because I could have been grinding some XP. I eventually did find the prince and went straight into fighting Team Eclipse. There was no time to waste. I wanted to get my gym badge, and I know you can get some legendaries around this time. Don't know if it's around this time, after this gym, when it is. Either way, I know I can get some legendaries pretty soon, so I got straight on with that. The first Team Eclipse grunt was pretty easy to deal with. It was the most difficult out of the two. Wasn't hard in no means, it was really easy. The second one was the easiest. This one had 3, the second one only had 2, so I just flew through it and went straight to the gym. This was probably my least favourite gym trial thing, mainly because I had to actually find where the members were and the different gym things. Initially I had no idea what it was, until obviously I spoke to this guy, and I absolutely hated it. However, eventually I did get to the gym leader, the prince, whatever you want to call it, and I'm just going to cut to that because me digging through this for like 5 minutes straight was just incredibly boring. For some reason I thought it was going to be incredibly easy because Tootie's a grass flying type and these are all ground type, so I knew that all of my grass type moves were going to be able to cut through them easily. Quagsire being a ground water type, I knew that Leaf Blade was going to be able to one-tap him so easily, which clearly it did. And the big mistake I made whilst doing this gym fight was when it came to the Steelix, I Gigantamaxed using my 3 moves right from the start. I started off thinking I could one-tap him again, which obviously didn't go well. After he used Thunderfang, I then decided I was going to Gigantamax, Dynamax? Oh, I thought it was Gigantamax. Dynamax? I'm just going to say Gigantamax. Yeah, but this was the issue because right from the start of the gym fight, I decided instead of waiting, obviously I didn't know what his team was, so I didn't see the issue of this until we got right to the end, which you will see soon. If you've played the game, you know what his last Pokemon was, and, well, I regretted it dearly. So I used Tootie, I took out his entire team, I was sweeping. Tootie did such a good job at this point. He was absolutely annihilating all of his Pokemon. One by one they were going down so easily. His Claydol went down one tap, obviously I was Dynamaxed. His Exectadrill was a 2-tap, pretty easy, wasn't an issue at all for Tootie and his grass-type moves. I kept using Leaf Blade because it was the most powerful, except for this one because he was already low down. Leaf Blade was one-tapping almost all of his Pokemon, which was an absolute charm to have on my side. This one, again, I should have probably used Mime, because if he used Dig, then I can use Dig, and then he wouldn't hit me and I'd hit him. That's what I did with Charizard when we were fighting against the Professor, and it was just, well, it was just a good move to have. But I didn't even think to swap out to my Copper Jar. I just kept using Tootie, which again, I kind of regret, but oh wow, it's over and it's done with. After taking out his Copper Jar, obviously his Garchomp came out next, and I thought I was going to be able to easily take this down, because I had a full team and he had one Pokemon. And this is where my issue came in, because obviously he Mega Evolved it. This is a slight issue, but not a problem for me. I had a full team. This is when my issue came in, because I Dynamaxed right at the start instead of waiting it out. So he used Fire Fang and took Tootie out before I even got a chance. I then decided to bring out, I think it was Absol, so then I can Mega Evolve as well. Or was it Luxray? Hang on. Yeah, I used Luxray, which was another mistake, because none of Luxray's moves were going to do anything good. I completely forgot the typing in this situation. I was more focused on the fact that he one-tapped Tootie. and I had an entire team of underleveled Pokemon, so I wasn't even looking at the typings or anything, thinking about them. So I really needed to use my Flygon because it had a Dragon type move, which would have been useful at the time. I would have been able to like 3-tap him, but the problem was I didn't use Dynamax, like saved it. I used it right from the start, which again was an issue for me because I wasted it. You only get 3 moves per fight. I'm just gonna speed this up because my entire team got absolutely annihilated by his Garchomp, Mega Garchomp. It was at this point I decided to swap out my Bishop for my Gyarados, because my Gyarados knew Water type moves which would counter the ground, it knew Ice type and Dragon type moves which would counter the Dragon type. So I thought I had a pretty solid team, and my strategy this time was to save my Dynamax for right at the end when I'm against his Garchomp, so then I can 1-tap, but once again I messed that up pretty badly. I don't know why. I bought a few like items here, so then in the middle of the battle, say he took out my Gyarados straight away, because it is very underleveled. It's only a level 30, his is a level like 64. So this would have like helped me in that situation. I'm now going to skip to the battle, so then obviously you can see how that went down. This time, however, I had a flawless plan put into place. I was going to save my Dynamax right until the Garchomp. I was either going to use it on my Gyarados, which at the time I wasn't even sure if you could Dynamax, or my Flygon, because I knew that also had a Dragon type move, which would be pretty helpful. I didn't really want to use the Flygon because it was the only had one move that you could like be effective against it, but my Gyarados had all 4 of its moves super effective against the Garchomp. This is how it went down. After using my Flygon to take down his Copper Jar, I switched out for my Gyarados and he sent out his Garchomp. Obviously his attack fell, which was going to be good for me, and for some reason I didn't click Dynamax throughout this entire fight. The entire time. So obviously he Mega Evolved his Garchomp, and this was where my mistake came into play, because despite saving it throughout the entire time, he didn't, well, I didn't use my Dynamax, so he was going to absolutely maul me. I used Scald because that was going to burn him, so then it would slowly take down his HP. All I really had to do was just stay alive. I just kept using any of these moves and completely forgot to Dynamax the entire time. It was obviously I couldn't move, I couldn't use my attacks or anything, so it all fell after my Gyarados. It all fell down to my Flygon, which you'll see how this goes down. After switching out to my Flygon, I used Dragon Rush, which was already a pretty good, powerful attack. My Flygon was a bit more powerful compared to it, and yeah, it was literally right after obviously he used Dragon Claw, nearly took me out straight away. So it was at this point that I realised, how can I get my HP up without him using Dragon Claw again? And then I realised I had my Dynamax still. So I used my Dynamax, I used my Dragon type move, took him out, because I was praying for a non-critical hit, because if this had a critical hit I was going to be gone. So I finally got out his Garchomp. It took me forever. I spent like 3 minutes sat there thinking of a strategy. and I didn't even use a strategy. If I used the Dynamax right from the start of that Garchomp fight, I probably could have taken him out really quickly. So, here's the badge. I'm still annoyed at myself, 4 hours after initially recording this video, but it is what it is. I still beat the 5th gym in Pokemon Brick Bronze. I hope you enjoyed the video.
Hey guys, are you ready to beat the shit out of me? I can't hear you!